This type of thing should never happen. Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog, and today I want to talk to you guys about a situation that should never occur in the world of audiology. But before I get into today's vlog, guys, do me a huge favor, click the like button, it really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well, it's greatly appreciated. So this one really stuck with me. So I had a new patient come into the clinic this past week. They've had a hearing loss for about 3 years, but they just got treated with hearing aids about 1.5 years ago. The hearing aids they ended up getting were true hearing devices, meaning that they had used their managed care benefit to go into a local clinic that accepted their insurance and ended up getting them the hearing aids that their insurance allows and provide them with the insurance level care. The problem I have here isn't that they went in and used this benefit. I think that if you're paying for your insurance and they have a benefit for you, by all means go and check that out and see if it's a right fit for you. So this individual goes in, she gets treatment, and then a couple months after the treatment, she's like, gosh, I'm just like not doing that well. So she keeps going back in for follow-up appointments saying like, I continue to struggle. I still can't hear and understand my husband. I'm getting depressed. I really think that my hearing has changed. And the first provider that had worked with her was about ready to go on maternity leave. And so she's like, no, like you're fine, everything's fine. You're hearing the best that you can hear with your devices. And so she's like, okay, leaves, ends up calling again, being like, I really think that there's something wrong with my hearing. Can I come in and get a hearing test? This time, the owner of the clinic, who's also a provider, I don't know if he's an audiologist or a hearing instrument specialist, but is basically saying, no, like everything's fine. We don't need to retest your hearing. Just, continue to go and struggle, I guess. I don't really know how that conversation went, but basically they refused to recheck her hearing to see if she had additional hearing loss, and they refused to do anything to try to fix or remedy the difficulties that she's having to the point where it's leading her into depression. So fortunately, she ended up knowing a patient who sees us in the clinic at Applied Hearing Solutions, and he's like, man, you got to go see my guys. And anytime that we have someone call our clinic who has hearing aids already and they're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that well with my devices, we always schedule them for an Applied360 Review Consultation. The difference between an Applied360 Discovery Consultation and a Review Consultation is that if someone has never had hearing aids before, they go through the discovery process, okay? This consultation takes us 2 hours, but they've never had hearing aids before, so we're really trying to dig deep to find out if hearing aids would solve the problems that they're actually having. Comprehensive hearing evaluation, all the stuff, right? But an Applied360 Review Consultation is when they have hearing aids and we have to do additional testing on those devices to see if they're actually programmed correctly to solve the issues that the patient is having. Again, this takes us 2, sometimes a little over 2 hours to identify what's actually going on, and then for us to give them a recommendation on what they should do, whether that's reprogram their existing hearing aids or whether they have to switch into different hearing aids and go through our Applied360 fit process. Nevertheless, this individual schedules an Applied360 Review Consultation. She comes in, she's sharing this story with us, and we're like, at this point, we're like, okay, maybe you had an additional loss occur, maybe you haven't, but the only way for us to find that out is for us to run a hearing test on you and then check the programming of the hearing aid. So the first thing that we identified when I hooked her True Hearing aids up to our Signia software, because that's basically what they are, is Signia hearing aids, we were able to see the old audiogram that she had done about 1 year prior to coming in to see us, okay? And okay, I got that, I entered it into our system so we could then do a direct comparison with the results that we get in the clinic. And we ended up getting different results. So the right ear was exactly the same, the left ear had a significant drop. So she was correct, she had an additional loss in her hearing, and that went unidentified by this other clinic. They basically said, oh no, you're fine, we don't need to retest you, and they should have actually retested her. But the other thing here is that, okay, we're reviewing this with the patient, you can tell that she's upset, and I feel horrible for her, but at any time that this happens, I always have to provide reassurance to the patient because I know that when someone comes in and we identify what's going wrong, that we can fix it, okay? So I'm giving her this reassurance, but I still don't know the full picture yet, okay? The full picture doesn't come into light until I actually run verification measures using real ear measurements on her existing hearing aids. We have the prescription, we have the old prescription and the new prescription. So I can see if at one point in time the hearing aids were programmed properly, and I can also see how far off of the prescription she is currently if she has an additional hearing loss, okay? And so we run real ear measurement, and this is what we find. We find that she is not hitting her prescriptive targets for virtually anything. But the one thing that she was really bad on was soft level speech amplification. So during the consultation, this will show you how seriously we take the complaints of our patients when they come in and they report all their difficulties to us. She reported that the most important thing to her was being able to hear her husband. And she's like, for whatever reason, I just can't understand him when he talks. So anytime that happens, what do you think I want to do? Well, I don't want to just take her word for it. I want to call her husband and find out what his voice actually sounds like. So we're like, hey, listen, I know that your husband's busy. He was actually going to come in with her to the appointment, but he couldn't make it because he had something else come up that was emergency level, something came up. So he couldn't come in. And I knew this. And I'm talking to her and I'm like, listen, I need to hear your husband's voice. I know he's busy. I know he had an emergency. I just need to hear him speak for 60 seconds. And so she's like, okay, let's call him. We call him, he answers the phone, we're talking to him, and immediately I could understand what the problem was. He's the type of person who does not project his voice like I do, right? He ends up speaking very softly, almost like his voice is kind of trapped in the back of his throat, and it never projects out enough to where even if you had properly programmed hearing aids that you might not hear and understand him all of the time. But this problem is exacerbated when you have soft level amplification not amplified enough inside of the programming of a hearing aid. And so just by me doing this, she's like, I cannot believe that you took that step to actually call my husband to find out exactly what his voice sounds like. The other clinic could care less. They just wanted to sell her a hearing aid, get her treated, and get her out the door, and hopefully never see her again until she needed to use her insurance benefit again. And honestly, I can't really blame the clinic that much. I mean, I can, that is completely uncalled for. But at the same time, the reimbursement from these managed care programs that insurances work with is horrible. So every time that a patient has to come back for another visit, basically that clinic is losing money on that. The only time that they make money is when they actually dispense the hearing aids initially. They get, $1,000 for fitting those hearing aids, but they're hoping that the patient never comes back, right? Honestly, that's probably the most unethical thing in the world. Why would you even participate in something like that if it ends up screwing over a patient because they're not getting the type of care that they deserve, right? But this patient, once I kind of reviewed all of this with her, she's like, oh my gosh, so you're telling me that I have hope? Because she had been, over the last 3 years when she started noticing the hearing loss and then she got treated and had no success with treatment, she basically had lost all hope that she could even do anything. It wasn't until she spoke to a patient of ours that she realized that, wait, there's actually something that can be done about this potentially, and then we just solidified it for her. So the first thing I had to do is make sure that she knew that it wasn't her fault. I mean, she was asking these other providers to do the right thing. She was telling them a complaint and they just pushed her off saying it's not worth even retesting, when all they would have had to do is retest her hearing in 20 minutes to find out there was an additional loss there. Now, fixing that problem is a totally different story because they never programmed the hearing aids correctly from the get-go, let alone would they have fixed the problem if they would have identified an additional loss. But at least they would have maybe done a different first hit programming or something like that. So I had to kind of give her reassurance that it wasn't her fault. It was definitely this other clinic's fault. And then the other thing that I had to reassure her about is that I could actually fix the problem. I know exactly what I have to do for this patient to get her up to her full prescription so she can actually hear and understand the things that are most important to her. And the one thing that's most important to her is her husband's voice. And because I understand the tonality and the intensity of her husband's voice, I know exactly how I have to program those hearing aids to accomplish that particular problem. This patient's going to be okay, but I start wondering, how many other people who are out there have the same experience? Who have the same experience even if they don't use their insurance? Let's say that they pay $10,000 for hearing aids and the treatment that's supposed to come along with it, and they have a horrible treatment outcome because the provider just doesn't care. How often is that going on? I have to imagine that it's happening more often than we like to think. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen that often, but my clinic is pretty much entirely funded by people who've gone elsewhere to get bad treatments, and then they come to us to save the day. And fortunately, we have a very high treatment success record when that happens. But I hate to see it happen. I would rather that I get all first-time patients, nobody who has ever had hearing aids before and was dissatisfied with them would ever come into the clinic. That's what I would hope for. I just know that that's not a reality because the current state of audiologic care out there when it comes to hearing aids is really, really poor, at least inside of the greater Phoenix area. But having had conversations with hundreds of other hearing care professionals across the United States, Canada, Australia, UK, it's pretty much the same story everywhere, unfortunately. But I want to hear what you think. Do you think that the quality of care that exists out there when it comes to hearing aid treatment is really good? Or do you think it's really bad or somewhere in between? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.